think. Welcome back to Inferno Mines, the Fun Path Challenge, Part 4. I'm Corkboy, and today we're going to be taking on the third dungeon of the first intersection of Inferno Mines called Outer Darkness. And since, well, most of it is pretty much the same as a normal playthrough, I'm going to be fast-forwarding through most of the parts here. Now, here it's time for today's quiz. How does Corkboy die this episode? You have A, dies valiantly to zombie pigmen, B, blown up by creeper in a surprise attack, or C, walks off a bridge into lava for no reason. Place your bets now. The answer will be presented to you later on during the episode. Okay, so the Outer Darkness is a pretty simple and basic just cavey dungeon where you go through and you light up some spawners, and there's really nothing much to it. There are a couple areas with a whole bunch of creeper spawners, and those can be tricky, but again, some speed and knowledge of where the spawners actually are so that you can light up efficiently, that's basically all you need to get through this area. And you don't really need to break anything or do anything other than place down lots of torches, so when it comes to the Fun Path Challenge, it doesn't really make much difference so far in this area. So I'm just going to go through and light up these spider spawners, and they really don't do much damage. Really, the natural spawns are the only thing that are dangerous in this area at all. And I'm basically going to clear this area out because actually the treasure chest contains quite a lot of coal and wood, and those are actually fairly precious resources in this challenge, especially the wood. And we're going to need lots of torches, and although we can mine coal, it's of course much more efficient to just pick up stacks of 64 here in this area. And it should give us enough coal to last us through the rest of the map, really. Here's one of these dead ends with lots of creeper spawners, and you just got to get in there and light it up quickly. And as you can see, pretty much only one creeper spawn. Now, in the original beta version of the map, there were actually quite a number more spawners in these areas, and the beta testers had a lot of trouble, so Vechs kind of nerfed these things. And I think they're a little bit too easy now, personally, but, well, either way, doesn't make it particularly difficult for the challenge. Aha, another diamond helmet. Well, you know, that would come in handy, but the diamond helmet I have on now is my final helm, so I'm not actually going to ever need it, of course. Well, maybe use to repair my final helm when it gets a little broken. That's pretty much all I'll need. Anyway, so there's that little cul-de-sac done. I'm going to go down here and get this chest. I believe there are ender pearls in it. Yep, there we go. Basically, I'm just going through and collecting good armor, torches, coal, wood, ender pearls, golden apples, and steak. And anything else I'm pretty much ignoring at this point. Because, well, it really doesn't matter to collect anything else. You really just got to be picky with the loot. See, look at all that coal I already got. There's just a ton of coal in this area. And I'm going to use this chest here sort of in the beginning of this area to dump off some of the loot. I'm going to have to go back and ferry some things back and forth once I get to intersection 2 anyway. Cross over this little bridge and continue on. Now, the secondary section of the entrance to Outer Darkness, there are a couple of spider spawners and another creeper cul-de-sac. I think that's what I'll call them. I'll call them creeper cul-de-sacs. With a bunch of more chests and items in it. These spider spawners would be annoying, but they're just totally normal spider spawners, so they're almost not a threat at all at this point. With my good bow and diamond helmet and good iron armor, I have iron and gold armor at this point enchanted. But I ran out of torches, so I need to go back to that chest I just dumped off all the coal and wood in. I think I forgot to leave myself some coal and wood to make my own torches and make some more torches. So, well, definitely going to need torches. More and more torches. There, yes, I'm making myself 4 stacks of torches, and I've got 9 wood left on me. Yeah, okay, that'll be plenty. So just, continue on. And there's really nothing much. I've already lit everything up, and there's no problem. And the answer to the quiz is C. Walks off a bridge into lava for no reason, and valiantly tries to survive such death. Okay, well, that was just completely idiotic. I would blame lag, but I'm, playing on single player, so it's, yeah. Anyway, thankfully I've got plenty of extra supplies, so I'm just gonna resupply here and go back to where I started. And luckily I dumped most of the loot in that treasure chest, so the only thing I lost at that point was the loot I actually had on me at the time, which was some torches and some ender pearls and golden apples, and of course my final diamond helmet, which of course is not final. So, well, now we just have a normal diamond helmet, and I decided to put on the diamond armor I have now unenchanted. Well, there are going to be some fairly decent fights later on in this particular section when I get to the zombie pigman spawner, the first one in the map. So we want to make sure you have some decent armor. So here's my nice chest. I'm getting torches again, making sure I don't fall off the bridge this time, and continuing on. I really only die in this run in really stupid places. I don't know. It seems like once I get to harder sections, I start concentrating more. Now here's the second creeper cul-de-sac, and it used to, again, like the previous one, it used to have a lot more creeper spawners, and now it only has, I think, 3, and it's really not too bad. See, I just cleared them out. The loot, however, is also, well, useful. More coal, more wood, and lots of blocks too, but of course we can't use blocks in this challenge, so it's sort of irrelevant for us to take them. Get some iron boots and a good, decent bow there, and yeah, that chest doesn't have anything useful. Okay, so let's head out, and well, we've pretty much filled up on inventory, but since we have right here, we're going to clear out as much more as we can of this area. This little section is dark, and there are plenty of natural spawns here, so you have to be careful and light it up, but I'm lighting everything up really carefully. This section I'm going to go back and forth quite a bit, so it's even more necessary than usual to really light it up so that you'd have no problems going back and forth. As you may know, there's a shortcut back to intersection 1 from intersection 2. However, we're not going to be able to use it in our challenge because it will require placing blocks to finish a railway. Now, if you're doing this challenge yourself, I don't think it really matters if you decide to bend the rules and make the shortcuts that Vechs puts on the map. It doesn't really violate the spirit of the challenge, which is to play the map entirely as much as possible as the creator intended, sort of. And of course, the creator intended you to use these shortcuts, so it wouldn't really be against the theme of the challenge to go and actually create the shortcuts. But I'm going to do without them and just be very sparing on what gear I take back and forth between the intersections. So I went up here to this little cave spider spawner trap, I guess, or area that's above the normal path. I just don't want cave spiders falling on my head when I'm walking back and forth here, so I'm going to make sure to light that up as best I can. And I'm kind of running out of torches, but thankfully I have some wood left, so another stack of 64 torches. And we're going to head into the next area, the area of the giant vine vertical climb thing. I don't know if it has a name, but it's pretty cool looking. Now, if you first, encounter this area, you probably don't know where to start. There's a little sign with a redstone torch there that gives you a hint. And if you just climb straight up where it tells you to, you pretty much reach all the way to the top. But once you get up to the next sign, it does get a little tricky. But there's a very good path that I'm not sure if it's what Vechs intended you to use, but it's what I always use, and I'll show you how to do that. You just go up this vine and then sort of weave to the left and weave to the right a little bit, and then back to the left, and you're done. Okay, now when you're up here, you go straight until you see this vine wall, and you climb up it. That gets you to sort of level 2 here. And then you look up when there's a piece of glowstone, and you climb up this vine here, which I'm pretty sure is purposely placed. Now we are at the top, basically. This is the top layer of the climb, and you sort of see those red stone torches over there indicate where you need to go. This area is very tricky. There are skeleton spawners embedded in the floor here, so it's very crucial to light up the edge as much as possible. You don't want skeletons spawning here, because one stray hit and you're falling very far down. The creepers are not helping here. As you can see, when the creeper exploded the torch, that skeleton spawned almost immediately. So you just got to make sure this edge area is lit up. And then, after that's lit up, and you're sure there aren't skeletons spawning behind you, now it's time to tackle the inner area. This is very dark, and I don't think there are many honeypots around here, so there are always lots and lots of natural mobs in here. I'm basically going to run ahead and torch up as much as possible, and I encounter a lot of creepers. But thankfully I have good armor, and I was blocking with my sword, so not too much damage. And just gotta light this up as quickly as possible, or it's gonna get pretty nasty. You can also go to the right instead of going to the left, and it's basically identical, so it doesn't really matter which one you do. If you want to be completist, you can go both ways, but... Now, here are again, like a whole nother village of creepers that are coming at me. I'm not sure what the spawn percentage is here for that, but just a lot of creepers. And finally, one final zombie, and I think that's it for this little area. Now this little vine gateway is going to signify the wool box, which is going to be right behind it. So, here we go, and here's the wool box. Now, this is going to be very tricky. To the right is a zombie pigman spawner, the first zombie pigman spawner on the map. They're not particularly strong ones, but they're plenty strong enough to knock you off this platform to your death. So be very careful about that. And zombie pigman spawners are not affected by light, so there is no way to torch it up and turn that spawner off. And of course, we're not allowed to break spawners in this challenge, so we really just have to avoid it as much as possible, despite the fact that it's right next to the wool box. But there is one saving grace in this particular situation. Zombie pigmen have very bad pathing, so they will just run straight at you. So as long as we stay completely on the opposite side of the wool box, the zombie pigman should get stuck and not be able to path around the wool box and find me and kill me. So here we go. Let's see. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to run over here. I'm going to sort of stay right behind the wool box, clear the zombie out. I hear some pigmen. I get shot by a skeleton. Okay, the skeleton is going to ruin my plan by shooting me out of the perfect area. Okay, there. Now I'm in the wool box, and when you're in the wool box and standing in the middle, the zombie pigmen should not be finding their way around it to this entrance that I made. So I'm going to grab the wool, or one piece anyway, sort of check out where those pigmen are. Yeah, he looks like he's not running at me at the moment, so I'm going to run away. Once I get this zombie dead, and time to go, time to go. Okay, run, run, jump, run. These vines will be very useful because generally people won't chase after you through them. But here come the pigmen. So now that we're in this little hallway area that I made damn sure to light up as much as possible, we can kill these pigmen one-on-one with a bow, and fairly safely anyway. At the exception of that gold helmeted skeleton, which is just making things annoying. Okay, so here we go. We're safe. We got the wool. Now, we couldn't run back and put it in the inner chest in the intersection 1, but the intersection 2 is right up ahead, of course, beyond the zombie pigman spawner. So, well, we were able to avoid the pigman spawner pretty well to get the wool, but now we actually have to get to the right of it, and there is no defense from these zombie pigmen to the right. So, right now I'm testing to see, okay, how far away do I have to be to trigger the spawner? And it looks like this is just exactly as far away as I can be without triggering the spawner. One block further and that zombie starts to spin. So I'm trying to pick them off here around the corner of that block, but all I'm really ending up doing is blocking my view with these stupid flame arrows that are sticking in the gravel. So, all right. It's time to YOLO it. We're going to run around to the right. We're going to use this gravel as a little bit of a shield. We're going to run to the right, and then we're just going to run. Okay, turn around. Time to fight the zombie. How many? There couldn't be that many, right? Oh, there are 4. Okay, shoot them with the arrow. Too late for arrows. Hit them with the bow. No, not the bow. I did not switch to sword at this point, and that was almost my death to me, so I just decided to run. It's time to run. This particular trap, we can deal with it later. I'm just going to kill everything in the way. Hopefully pigmen are... Oh, they're following me. Oh, crap. Oh! That creeper saved my butt. I think that I had hurt most of them with the bow enough, and that creeper, whoa, and then the creeper did not save my butt, but thankfully it didn't really hurt me too bad. That creeper back there blew up all the pigmen for me that were chasing me, and I am hurt, but I am mostly safe here. I only have 5 torches left, and I have plenty of food and some apples, so, okay, I think I made it. I made it down. And it's just a short little trek down to intersection 2. Now, yeah, my armor's still good. Excellent. That was pretty nerve-wracking, but it's just the first and middle. By the way, yeah, I see you, skeleton. Yeah, I know. Okay, you're gonna hit me, are you? Yep, hit me. Always be careful of skeletons on the little bridge, unless you make it super safe. And wool is in the chest. Whew. Alright. Now, like I said, we're not going to use the shortcut back, so we're going to need to run a bunch of items back and forth from intersection 1. Pretty much that's it for this episode. The rest is just going to be sort of some house cleaning and a few extra comments. But, you know, Outer Darkness, not so hard, except for that one pigman spawner. But once we get to intersection 2, yeah, things are going to get a lot harder. So if it hasn't seemed like too much of a challenge yet, and it hasn't really been too much of a challenge yet, things are going to get hard real quick. So first off, I actually need to get back out of here, and I realized that I needed some ladders. I was out of ladders, or I didn't have any ladders on me left, and there was no way for me to get back out here. I was, if I hadn't had that extra bit of wood there for me to turn into ladders, I might have been stuck there permanently and not have been able to go back, which I don't believe would have been game over, but would have been pretty close. So I'm going to get some extra torches here and finally safe up this zombie trap thing, and it's not really going to be that difficult. Just a couple creepers. Okay. Well, and they blow up the chests. Well, that's just annoying. Now, there's this potion spawner trap thing, which actually it looks like hit me with a slowness potion, which is annoying. And, of course, in this challenge, there's no way for you to actually disable the trap. Well, theoretically, I think you could probably click on the dispenser and grab all the potions in it, and that would disable the trap. But, it's not literally, it barely hits you anyway. It only fires randomly, and if you just run past, it's almost no chance of it hitting you. Of course, to run items back and forth, I'm going to have to actually go back and forth past that stupid zombie pigman spawner again. So I'm a little bit wary of that. But I think now that I got the handle of it and hadn't let too many spawn, as long as I run past fast enough, I shouldn't allow more than one to spawn. And as long as I keep running and then turn around and fight that one pigman when I'm out of range of the spawner, shouldn't be a problem. So, alright, ran back and got this stuff in that chest. I'm going to go and sort of, well, dump some crap off in the lava, make some extra chests. There we go. Alright, time to go back to, actually, that supply chest in Outer Darkness. That's our first goal. I apologize for not uploading a couple episodes, an episode for the past few days. I've been kind of under the weather. Here we go. Let's see. Run. Okay. Whew. Basically, yeah, every time you run past that pigman spawner, it's just holding your breath. And everything else here on just the way back is totally safe since I torched up pretty thoroughly. There's only one or two little places where some enemies would spawn, like here, where a lot of the ridges are dark and theoretically they could shoot me and knock me off the vines, but as long as you keep your head in the game, not too bad. Now, one thing I should say about this challenge, like I said, I'm not going to use the shortcuts, but I've been collecting ender pearls and golden apples, and those are really going to be important in the later stages of this challenge. If for people who are thinking ahead, sort of, you might be wondering, how I do a couple areas in the future. Mainly, the most difficult one is probably going to be Dumbblast Zesto Cavern, and, of course, Eternal Battle. Now, when you think about this, those are going to be really difficult rules for this challenge because they have multiple spawners, pigman spawners specifically, that can't be shut off and must be, worked around to get to the wool. So, usual tactics involve, TNT dropping or maybe potion spamming to just sort of tank it and get in there and get out. But since we can't use potions and we can't drop TNT on things, things are going to get really difficult. Now, a sort of example of some creative ways to get around it is going to come up pretty soon with Hain's Disgrace. If you're familiar with Hain's Disgrace, you know that there's a section with a whole ton of chests, and there's also a blaze spawner, not just a normal blaze spawner, but a sort of massive area of effect blaze spawner that spawns 12 blazes instantly when you get near it, and keeps spawning them too, which sort of guard that sort of chest area. Now, getting those chests is not necessarily 100% necessary for beating this map, but it's definitely going to be useful. Here I go into the intersection 2, and under this floor plate in the middle of the intersection is a chest with some good enchanting books in it. Unbreaking 3s, and I think Efficiency, and maybe a Protection 4 book. But I'm trying to think of a way to actually access this chest at this point. And I think I'm not sure why, but I forgot that technically, since that slab is on top of the chest, I could probably break it and access the chest, and it wouldn't sort of violate the rules of my challenge. But, I don't know, something seems off about that, because that slab doesn't seem to be protecting the chest from being opened. It's actually protecting the chest from being noticed, which is a little bit different than sort of what I felt it was. But anyway, I'm not going to access that chest. So back to Hain's Disgrace and the blaze spawner. So this blaze spawner is suspended up in the air, and it's surrounded by, I believe, stone brick. And so there's no way to destroy it. It's difficult to destroy even in a normal playthrough because you have to run up to it and then pillar up a little bit and then hit it with a pick, all the while being shot at with blaze. But in this challenge, we're not even allowed to drop TNT on it or anything. So, is there any way to get those chests at all, or are we just going to have to sort of run in and grab a chest and run back and hope the blazes don't break all the other chests? It's going to be tricky, and I found a sort of a trick that doesn't violate the rules, and will let us get everything in that area. So stay tuned for that in the next, I think, the episode after next. The next episode is actually Lush Ruins. A lot of people think Haynes' Disgrace comes before Lush Ruins, but Lush Ruins is actually the yellow wool, which is the next one on the monument, and then after that is Haynes' Disgrace, and then finally Mellow Cavern. So that's going to be... first we're going to head into Lush Ruins. That'll enable us to get infinite amount of iron, and that's always going to be useful for, well, it's usually useful for iron picks, but iron armor, assuming we need it. We have plenty of diamond at this point, but extra iron is never going to hurt. And then the actual wool in the Lush Ruins is very tricky, but if you know how to get to it in the right direction, it's actually not tricky at all. It's actually really, really easy. But finding that route to the wool is not easy at all. Thankfully, I've already found it, so it's actually quite simple. Haynes' Grace, aside from that chest issue, is just a battle. You're not going to be able to light up the area enough to stop all the spawners, and the area with the webs near the wool with the invisible spiders, as well as the spider jockeys and the flaming spiders, you just have to tank it, and that's what we'll be doing. But by that time, we'll have really good armor, even better than we have now, and we'll be able to take it on. And then after that, we just have to run through. Now, Mellow Cavern is actually quite difficult. Usually it's an extremely easy area, but, well, you'll see what happens in Mellow Cavern pretty soon. Ah, there we go. I've got all my stuff. I'm sort of dumping it all in the chest right now, and that's pretty much it. Set my spawn. I think that's all there is for this episode. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.